Up until quite recently, a quick kiss on the cheek or mouth was a popular way to greet someone. In some parts of the world, it still is today.
But in 1910, one woman went on a crusade to ban kissing as a way to stop disease from spreading. She was way ahead of her time, and she faced public ridicule for it. Her name was Imogene Rechtin, and this is her story.
Let's dig into this.
We may forget how different medicine was in the 19th and early 20th centuries. The causes of diseases were not well understood, and of course, antibiotics had not been discovered. Quack cures and snake oil salesmen were everywhere. In the early 1900s, alcohol, opium, morphine, and cocaine were used in over-the-counter products from cough syrups to cola drinks.
You could buy a medical license through the mail without ever taking a single class. Blue glass and electricity were both thought to be wonder cures. You could wash away fat with special soap. Disease could be diagnosed long distance or by feeling someone's face or head. And it was the world Imogene Rechtin had grown up in.
In the past couple years, thanks to a new worldwide pandemic, we've received an education on social distancing and disease spread. We started to look at each other as walking germ factories, and we are. According to the National Institutes of Health, the average person has about 700 species of microbes in their mouth, including bacteria and fungus. And the average healthy person's mouth has about 20 billion bacteria present at any one time. A quick kiss can spread as many as 80 million bacteria in an instant. Imogene Richten didn't know this back in 1910, but she had a strong suspicion kissing could spread disease.
Imogene lived in Cincinnati, Ohio with her husband and children. Like many women of her time, she participated in women's groups supporting women's causes. And the story goes that while at one women's event, she watched as the hostess greet more than 30 women by kissing each lady, one after the other. For Imogene Richten, this was both disgusting and frightening. So, she decided to do something about it. She had no idea what she was in for.
In a time of widespread outbreaks of cholera, typhoid, smallpox, syphilis, and tuberculosis, Imogene Rechtin had every right to be disgusted by the social habit of kissing hello. Tuberculosis, called consumption in those days, was the second leading cause of death in the United States in the early 1900s. They called it the White Death, and most folks lived in fear of getting the disease. A diagnosis of consumption was a death sentence. There was no cure and no effective treatment. Most patients died within 3 years of their diagnosis, and many died much more quickly.
The old ideas for controlling disease outbreaks were slowly changing as doctors and scientists learned more about how disease actually spread. And society was trying to deal with the new knowledge. In 1896, New York City passed a law against spitting in public to try and prevent tuberculosis, which included fines and even jail time for lawbreakers. Toothbrushing and personal hygiene were encouraged in public schools. And in 1907, Avis Boyce started a campaign against kissing babies to try and stop disease. Maybe Imogene Ricken was familiar with this and took the idea one step further.
In 1910, Imogene started the World Health Organization from her Cincinnati home. This was not the UN World Health Organization we know today. That organization was started in 1948. Imogene's group began a war on kissing that quickly became famous. The group sold kiss not buttons for 5 cents each to raise funds, and they sold a lot of them. Soon the group had over 1,000 members. When they reported over 70 brides had worn their kiss not buttons at their own weddings, the press became very interested in their campaign.
The group's mission was simple: stop kissing to stop disease. The pledge of the organization stated, and I quote, In order to encourage good health and lessen the spread of consumption, I desire to join the World Health Organization and hereby pledge myself to discourage the custom of kissing on the lips whenever it is in my power. In newspaper articles, Ms. Richten effectively laid out arguments that kissing may spread disease, especially tuberculosis. She encouraged people to protect their own health, an idea way ahead of its time. She is often quoted as saying that you cannot necessarily know who may be sick, so just don't kiss anyone. She had public health statistics to back up her arguments, and it seems to have been very knowledgeable and well spoken.
The press had a field day over the Kiss Not campaign. A Washington Post editorial on June 29, 1910, called her World Health Organization the Society to Prevent Pleasure. There were many jokes and cartoons making fun of the group. Some papers even called it a cult, and some reporters went after Mrs. Richten personally, insinuating that no one would really want to kiss someone who looked like Mrs. Richten anyway.
She was accused of fighting an unwinnable war, and that was true. Despite being correct about kissing spreading disease, her World Health Organization would disappear after just 18 months. The public was busy responding much more positively to the health guru movement, which was exploding in popularity. People like John Harvey Kellogg were opening facilities offering people good health through following their programs. Kellogg's Battle Creek Sanitarium, for instance, included exercise, only eating special approved foods, remaining in a bathtub of water for days, slapping machines, bathing in the light from light bulbs, and the other ideas that seem bizarre to us today. But Imogene Rechtin's group was ridiculed.
Fortunately, the rise of antibiotics would help control outbreaks of formerly untreatable diseases like tuberculosis within a few decades, and Imogene Rechtin and her war against kissing would mostly be forgotten.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And we'll see you on the next one.